Welcome to part 3 of 3 of the Accounting 325 introductory videos. In this video, we're going to cover the basic logistics of the course. You may want to have a copy of the syllabus handy as we walk through this video. There are 8 modules in this course, and each module aligns with 1 week. A traditional semester is about 15 weeks, so this course works at double speed. So be prepared to work hard and have few let-ups. Think of a module as starting on Monday and ending on Sunday each week. Each module contains a reading assignment, a video assignment, a homework assignment, and a quiz. Thus, you will have 8 of each of these. The suggested order is to read first, then watch the videos, then prepare the homework, and then take the quiz. Homework will be due Wednesday of each week at 11:30 p.m. Pacific. In fact, all the times are Pacific times. Homework solutions will be made immediately after the due date. The quiz and any other assignments will always be due Sunday at 11:30 p.m. You are always encouraged to complete your tasks in advance. However, I would not recommend taking the quiz until you have seen your homework results to identify any areas for improvement. As mentioned previously, all times are Pacific, so if you reside in a different time zone, be sure and adjust accordingly. Also, you will see that the system deadlines will always offer a short grace period, for example, until 11:35 or 11:40. That is to provide for a small amount of clock error. In your minds, continue to think of 11:30 as the deadline. That way, if you need 5 minutes to get your internet connection back in service, you'll have it. The course also has 4 other assignments. These are due on various dates throughout the module as shown on the table. For example, assignment number 1 is due during module 2. The midterm exams will be scheduled inside a time block that you select from a menu of choices. There are 2 exams, one during module 5 and another in module 8. The deadlines for the exams will depend on the time and date you select. As discussed during the learning materials video, that was the course intro part 2, homework will be completed using the Connect system. Quizzes will be completed using Blackboard. Exams and assignments will be submitted using Turnitin. Since all of the homework, quizzes, and assignments are posted well ahead of time, and the window of time for which to complete those is generally adequate, there are no provisions for missed deadlines. However, the system will continue to accept late assignments, and I encourage the completion of all assignments, whether late or not. You will be subjected to a points penalty for submitting late work. Check the syllabus for penalty details. Students often ask me, what should I do to get an A in this class? And I hate to admit it, that's a difficult question to answer. Every student learns a little differently and favors some learning styles over others. So there's no pat answer that applies to every student. But I'm an accountant by trade, and so I always go with an analytical approach that includes a list. Get the easy points. Always do the homework and always complete it on time. In fact, complete everything on time. The course is challenging and 8 weeks is not a lot of time, but 8 weeks is also not a lot of time to devote to a single mission. Rome may not have been built in a day, but 8 weeks is plenty of time to finish all the work in this course. Don't miss the easy points. Use the homework as a warm-up quiz. Many students will see the homework deadline looming and simply work to get those few points. See my previous point, but check the syllabus and you can derive how much of your grade each homework is worth. Instead of rushing to get the green check mark, and for those of you new to Connect, you'll see what I mean. Open up your text, take notes on the problems, show your work on organized scratch paper so you have a trail as to how you worked out the problem. Try the homework problem on your own. If that doesn't work, crack open your book and use it as a reference and try again. Avoid the temptation to just keep plugging numbers into the box and praying for that green check. Getting the right answer in the homework but not understanding the solution is not getting you any closer to learning the material. You'll have to hope that your random number generator is as lucky on the quiz and the exams. Use quizzes as mini exams. Same rules apply to quizzes as homework. Look at the point contribution to your total grade from any particular quiz. Get those points, but make sure you work them out in an organized fashion and keep your notes. Time management. Enough said. Keep up with your work. See the previous item. Want to learn. I know, that sounds silly, doesn't it? I think back to my K through 12 education, and you realize that for big parts of it, you're simply along for the ride. Treating your education like some rote exercise that you have to do should be in your rearview mirror. You don't have to get a college degree. You don't have to choose business as your major, but you did, and now you are taking courses that are directly associated with that goal. I'm not going to ask you to read and interpret Shakespeare. As interesting as that might be, those fundamentals are now out of the way. I can tell you after a career in the business world, I wished I had paid more attention to all of my business courses, especially those outside of accounting. Once you get past your entry-level position and on to management, they will all play a role. Otherwise, we wouldn't make you take them as part of the program. I swear we wouldn't. Okay, that is the last of our Intro to the Course videos. If you have any additional questions, we are hosting a discussion board during Module Number 1. Be sure and make a note of anything you want to ask and you'll get a chance. Even if you have no questions, you may want to check the discussion board to see if anyone had thought of something you didn't. Thanks for watching.